that's between parents and children with regard to your IT knowledge. So it is it has become a major challenge to the parenting at the moment, because our children knows IT very well than the ourselves. So because of that, we are always in a doubtful and shaky mind with regard to this online resources usage by our children. So that's why DOWELS decided to organize this event to educate what sort of note we have to gather about this to safeguard our children and to protect our children and supervise our children. It is overuse or the pre-use of online resources. So as a charitable organization, DOWELS always take the social responsibility. So consider this as a social responsibility to educate our members as well as the community. So we have got a very eminent speaker, and he's with us. He has wide knowledge of internet applications and internet online resources. So you will be listening to his presentation, and also moderator would be the. He's one of the I first teach use resources teaching in our medical students when we were in the medical students, and now he would be the moderator for this program, and he is a vice president of DOWELS in 2017, as well as he is a director, board member of DOWELS at the moment. And I would cordially invite Professor Ajay Singh sir, you to conduct the program and give introduction to the S.Namal Karunarathna. And it's stage up to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jesiri, President DOWELS. Today evening, we are going to hear a very interesting topic, Safe Internet for Your Kids, by an expert in this field. So it's my pleasant duty to introduce Dr. S.Namal Karunarathna. He has received a PhD from Department of Communication and Engineering University in Finland, and an MSc from Department of Networks and Multimedia Services in France, and also Master of Engineering from reputed Asian Institute of Technology. But he is our own alumni. He has Bsc Engineering, Computer Engineering from our University of Peradeniya. So we are very proud that we have invited our own alumnus today. And his interests are in network security, mobility management, software-defined networks, authentication, Internet of Things. These are the buzzwords these days. So I think he's an expert in this field. So on behalf of the DOWELS, let me invite Dr. S.Namal Karunarathna to talk about safe internet for your kids. It's not only for kids. We just had a talk before that. It's for the parents as well, because all these things we need to know about what kids are doing. So over to Dr. S.Namal Karunarathna, please.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. So I was asked to do a sort of a lecture to present how the internet could be used. How do we control our kids using internet, because you know that the content wise the internet is huge. There are good and bad everything together in the internet, so we have to be very careful. We have to be aware what our kids are doing. So in my presentation what I mostly thought was how we can first thing is, of course there are two aspects into this. First thing is how we can prevent them going in the wrong direction, and the other thing is if they are already in the wrong direction, how do we find it out. So these two facts I am going to cover up in my presentation. So let's keep it more of kind of a discussion. So you can also raise your questions at any time. Please feel free to disturb me at any point if you want. So let me share my slides with you. We'll start with the presentation. Okay, I hope you can see my presentation slides now.
Yeah, we can see them clearly.
Yes.
Go ahead, Manav. Yeah.
Right. So let me just take a sort of introduction into what we are talking about. So as you know that the internet, as I said, is a place where you have both good and bad. So we have different people using the internet. We have different people uploading things into the internet, and you and our kids, they all download this information even without knowing what exactly they are. So in the internet, we can find the predators, cyberbullies, and phishing scammers. So different people comes with different attitudes and different requirements, different objectives. So we have to be careful. We have to make sure our kids are safe from these people, and we will be looking at how we can make them aware about these different incidents, different possibilities, and how we can educate them, and also how you can be educated by yourself uh, to to exclude the dangers, particularly coming with the digital era. So it's not only the people that makes problems. They are in the internet, but also the content that they are uploading. So this content-wise, it can be violent or sexually explicit contents spread quite widely across the internet. So we have to be careful to keep our kids away from these inappropriate things. So I will tell you how we can put, how we can keep them away from these things, and also um, I will explain you how we can stop them being uh, look into these contents. So, in fact, they are understood that this requirement exists. There are different companies, different software developers who comes up with different software tools to control these issues. So we do have nowadays the parental control softwares which will look into the content that the kids are looking in, and accordingly the parents will be given some control over the uh, information or the content or the data that the kids are watching. Not only that, there are also antivirus software programs which allows you to, for example, let's say there can be some spywares, there can be viruses in the internet which might damage your system, your computer, and maybe download some unwanted content into your computer, and then also release your information to the outside world. So there are so many different things that can happen. So with these tools, these softwares, you can of course minimize the risk, but uh, altogether these tools will be quite expensive, therefore not usable by everybody in general. So when we talk about internet safety, there are a few things I would like to highlight you. As you know, that with your general understanding, it's about how you deal with your children, whether you talk to them, whether you know that what they are looking at, whether you question them, what sort of content they are used to you look at. So you have to have this dialogue in between you and your children. As you know, and also it's advice to move a computer to a common area where everybody can use it commonly, or everybody can see what others are doing with that computer. And further, you can also educate by yourself your children's the different experiences that they might have in the internet, or what the things that they encounter in the internet, and give some understanding of the unwanted or inappropriate contents that is already there in there. So accordingly, you can make them educated and give them sort of understanding what not to look at. And further, you can also restrict the content or provide certain guidelines what to watch and what not to watch, right? And also, you can, for example, limit or you can restrict what they are downloading, or you can make your system updated to make sure the unwanted viruses, things like that, getting into this, to stop things getting into your computers. Because when your, for example, when your operating system is too old, which means the system does not resist to the latest viruses. It's almost like the tablets that you have, right? So when there are new diseases comes, the old tablets doesn't work on that. So you have to come up with a different tablet, different vaccine. So similarly with the computers also, over the time when the operating system get older, the computers will not resist the latest security vulnerability. So you have to keep it always updated with the latest software, latest security updates. That will guarantee at some level that you don't easily get encounter into difficulties. And there are enough of various antivirus software that you can download. Some are free, some for some you have to pay and get it. But any of these things would do a reasonable job, even though you don't pay for it. So it's highly recommended that you do these fundamental you follow these fundamental steps to make sure certain unwanted things does not get into your computer. So these are some general understanding I was trying to give you. I believe most of you already know these things, but now one I will look into more technical things, how we can handle or how we can tackle this problem of our kids safety accessing internet. So as I initially said, there are two directions. One is detection and the other one is prevention. So one approach is trying to prevent them getting exposed into vulnerabilities in the internet. And the other one is if they already does, if they are already addicted, then how we detect it and what we can do for that. So these two different aspects I will focus next. Right. So one of the most critical thing I want to share with you is that nowadays the kids are quite addicted to games. I think almost all the kids, they do like at least one or couple of games they used to play. So while they are playing, they will of course make their own profile. So when they make profiles, the the manufacturer or the developer of that game will ask certain information to make their own profile. For example, it can be the telephone number, it can be the location, or it can be the name, address, things like that. Right? So, if you give the real information into such a tool or such a system, there is a possibility that this information get leaked out to the rest of the internet. So these informations might fire at you um, when it is gone into a bad hand. So it's very important that you educate your children not to use actual information, the real information, when they try to create profiles. It can be a gaming profile, it can be a social sort of Facebook-like application profile, but it's not good to expose themselves to the internet because there are enough of people looking at them to grab them. So uh, we have to be sort of hidden behind. Otherwise, once our personal information goes to the outside, they can misuse it against us. So, what are the options for doing this? Maybe you're already aware that, for example, if they are to, let's say, watch a video, there are enough of good videos that the kids can watch. So, rather than you allowing them to go to the YouTube, you can ask them to use the YouTube Kids. So YouTube Kids, the address is already in here. It's a different version by YouTube itself, and it allows you to create your own profile. Let me just show you how you can do it. So here I am sharing the web link. I hope you can see. So here you can create your own account. You can create your account as a kid or as a parent. So being a parent, I will show you what you can do. Being a parent, you can easily uh, push certain restrictions. For example, if you are a parent, then you can restrict certain information that your kids wants to look at. So maybe if you doesn't like, for example, let's say fighting games or fighting content, then you can restrict that. Likewise, you can uh, restrict or stop your kids watching certain contents in the YouTube by using the YouTube Kids. So it's in fact a different website by YouTube itself to provide the safety for our kids. So anybody whoever using YouTube, it's highly recommended to use YouTube Kids for their day-to-day video downloading or video watching. And another thing is when it comes to social media, um, maybe most of our kids they do also have some Facebook profiles. But Facebook, as you know, it's not a good place for the kids because they are not aware of how to handle or how to behave in social media. So for them, in fact, the Facebook has introduced a different version of it. Of course, it's not similar to Facebook, but at least a chat space for them, which is called Messenger Kids. So in this Messenger Kids, each and every time they write something, they will be checked by the provider, by the service itself, and then before it is being posted, before it is being sent to someone, the service will guarantee the unwanted or inappropriate content will not be delivered. So by using this, you can restrict your kids trying unwanted things or sharing unwanted things with others. Right. The another one I want to tell you is that the facility is provided by your computer. So maybe you already know that in your computer there's an application called Firewall. This Firewall is actually it stands between the internet and your computer. So it sort of controls the content that are coming from the internet to your computer. So you can use this firewall to restrict certain unwanted contents. I will show you how you can do that. So you can first go into your firewall. Let me first share it. Okay. So this is the firewall that I have in my PC, right? So in this firewall, here you can see this tab. It says allow an app through firewall. So you can just click on it, and then you can see number of applications that are already in my computer. So here, see that I have Dropbox, I have desktop application viewers, then I have, for example, I have Skype, right? So here you can restrict certain applications. For example, if I don't want my kid to use Skype to chat with the others, what I can do is I can untick it, right? I can remove it. So by doing that, you can restrict certain applications running in your computer. For example, if your kids are using Zoom for their education, maybe they don't want the web browsers. So what you can do is you can exclude whether it's Mozilla or whether it's Chrome. You can stop that running in the PC by removing it from this menu. So that is one way that you can handle this unwanted applications running in your PC. Another one is that the other security services. So you know that there are different operators. They come up with application. They come up with application as a service, offering services by filtering certain content, particularly for the kids. So you can buy a package which is dedicated for those kids and use it at home. So that will guarantee that inappropriate content will not be exchanged in such an environment. So you have to discuss it with whatever the network operator and get that package to your home. So all these are sort of preventive mechanisms. So if you want to stop your kids uh, using or getting exposed, you can follow these steps that I already spoke. But there can be a situation where in some way they are already exposed. If that happens, then you have to have a mechanism to detect, to identify content that they will be looking at. So if you want to do that, again, we do have so many different approaches. So one of the best thing that you can do is, or the simplest things that you can do is, you can check the history. For example, let me go to my um, Google Chrome. So this is my browser. So here, when I click over here, you can see a button called history. So this history will show up all the things that I checked previously, that I tried to look at. So once your kids have used the computers, you can just check their history. You can see what they have done, right? But there's a problem, because if they are smart enough, they can clear this list as well, right? So if they clear it, you don't see any of these things. As long as they don't know how to do that, you can check at any time the content that they have looked at, particularly when it comes to browsing. And other one is, for example, let's say YouTube. Let me just show you what you can do with that as well. If you use YouTube, um, if your friends are or if your kids are to watch YouTube, you can just go to the history here. History. This history will tell everything that your kids watched. For example, in my case, this was used by my kids. So you can see that there are so many kids movies, cartoons that they have watched. So similarly, you can check your history in YouTube as well. So with that, you can make sure that they don't look at any inappropriate content. And other thing is, you can configure your Google account to support this. I will show you how you can do it. So here is my Google account. Let me just go to Google. So here you can see my Google account. And then I go to manage Google account. And over here, you can see data and personalization. So now in my account, you will see that under activity control, here it says I have chosen to record these things. I have chosen to record all my web and application activities. And also, I have allowed to record my YouTube history as well. But you can see here, my location history is not recorded. So that means the place that I logged into YouTube will not be recorded in my history, but anything other than that, whatever that I search in the Google, whatever I watched in the YouTube, everything will be recorded. So only thing that you have to do is uh, the same YouTube account that you have, you can make these configuration changes. You can switch on the web and application activity and your YouTube history. Also, if you want, you can check the location history. So by doing that, you will know what exactly being used, what exactly being looked at on your computer by whoever used it previously. And then let's look at the different applications that we do have to identify these things that are done by our kids. So here I just concluded only few applications, but let me at least show you one of these applications. It is very straightforward. It directly allows you to record whatever that happens in your computer. So I request you to just have a look at this. Right. So these kind of applications, we call them the loggers. So what they do is they will keep record of everything that we do in our computer. For example, here you can see that in this event logger, it will record all the keyboard events. So it means that any key press, if I press letter A in my keyboard, that will be recorded there, right? And it will also take screenshots. Maybe you can take, for example, let's say in every minute, you can take one screenshot. And by looking at that, you know that what exactly whoever using the computer was doing in there. So further, you can have this uh, clipboard values. So if your kid was using this copy paste commands, so all those copied content will be there in the clipboard. So you can easily figure out what they have been doing. And also the social networking things, web pages that are visited, everything will be recorded in here. And also you can configure it to give you some alerts. For example, if you don't want them to, let's say, to go to, let's say, a social uh, website like Facebook, immediately when he try out to log into Facebook, that will be alerted to you. Let's listen to it. Right. So these tools, we call them the loggers. So there are enough of such tools available in the internet for free. You can just download it and install a recommended keylogger, recommended logger to record the events in your computer. So being install it in your computer, you know that what exactly whoever using that computer was looking at. And another thing is now you can use schedulers. So scheduler is basically a tool that you can use to automate your system. For example, let's say you had to leave for work, leaving your computer for your kid. Maybe he's watching a movie. So you want the PC to be switched off, shut down by 1 hour. So what you can do is you can use a scheduler and schedule the time at which you want to switch it off. So you can do it by yourself by using a separate application uh, or dedicated for scheduling task, or else you can do it manual in your computer as well. For example, let me show you how you can do it. So you know that this is the command prompt. Here you can type certain commands. I will show you how to do it. So here you can use this command. If you type this command here, cut down minus s minus t, and then you can specify the duration. Here you can specify the duration that you want to keep your system up. So, for example, let's say you want to set it to 1 hour, then you give that 1 hour in seconds here. So then by that time, the system will automatically shut down. Or else you can use a separate scheduling tool, uh, which are also freely available in the internet, and use it to uh, to automatically shut down your computer. And furthermore, you can also use screen recorders. So these screen recorders will record everything that I do in my computer. So basically, it will record whatever that happens in the screen. So all the pop-ups will be there. So you can use the screen record applications, or even I hope you might know that the VSC player. This is one of the common media player. By using this player also, you can do the same thing. I will show you how you can do it. You go to this capture device, and then you select the desktop, and maybe the frame rate you increase it up to, let's say, 30, around 30. And then here you can save it. I save my screen, recorded screen in the desktop. So now I have started. So whatever that I do now should be recorded in that file. So I will show you. Now I will stop the recording, right? And then I go back to the file here on the desktop. So this file will tell everything that I did during that period. So you can activate one of these things in your PC so that you know what exactly your kids are doing. So those are different options or different ways that we can actually identify or detect if they are to do something bad that we don't expect. Okay, I think with that I conclude my presentation. So I welcome your questions now on.
Thank you, Namal, for that way, kind of giving a very difficult feel, but some tips. I have a question now. Supposing when we go out, we schedule it, will the kid know how to remove that schedule?
No, sir.
No.
In that scheduling tool, you will have a username and a password. So with that only you can log into that, and then you will configure it the time, and by that time it will automatically switch off, shut down. So nobody else other than a person having the same username and the password can change it.
Thank you, Dr. Amal. It's a very, very important points are there. Actually, that is very important because sometimes we over-accuse our children because mainly because we don't know what is happening, because we are in doubt. Because of that, we keep we can't we are not trusting them. So I think these are the simple application. If we can apply these things with our kids, and we are not for that, I mean always, but time to time, I think we can use these things, and then we can monitor and supervise what they are doing. That is something very important. And at the same time, yes, Dr. Ajanta.
Yes, there's a question, Dr. Namal. Can you use this app for the Android device? There's a question.
Yes, yes. There are applications for the Android devices as well. Let me show you something. Okay. Let me share my screen again. See, now here you can see the things I have searched during last few minutes. In fact, last couple of hours, right? These are the things I searched in Google. And at the same time, if you can look at my my phone, hope you can see. You can look at my phone here. You can see the same content that I was trying to search on my PC. So that means my mobile phone and my PC, they are synced. Whatever I do in my mobile phone, that goes to the PC. If I do something in the PC, that goes to the mobile phone as well. So you can leave out your PC with your kids, and still you will know what exactly they are doing with your mobile phone.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Namal.
Welcome.
There's another questions that this asks how to create a Google account. I think is something.
Yeah, to create a Google account, you have to go to google.com. Since I have already created my account, I can't show it to you. You can start with either going to creating a Gmail or Google Mail account, or by going to google.com, and then you can see. I will show you. Since I already have my account ready, I can't exactly show you how it is done, but I can give you some hints. Unfortunately, my computer is not went on not responding for Google Chrome, but I will explain it in the next time. If we have another question, I can ask that before I show it to you.
And while we are recapping these questions and other things, shall we go to, because this program is sponsored by the Infotech campus. So they are one of the prestigious IT providers in the Kandy, and I think they also have prepared some presentation with regard to, I mean, they have a lot of program on adult IT education. So these are targeting at professionals. They were discussing with us with regard to this basic